Hi everyone, we are together again. Today we'll be talking about endometriosis, and I will stay at the end to answer questions if you have any questions. So what is endometriosis? A very grave disease which is extremely painful. It is derived from the word endometrium, which word is the tissue that lines the uterus. So that uterine tissue has the ability to plant itself on other tissues and organs, like the fallopian tubes, pelvic ligaments, in the abdomen, which means in the organs in the abdomen. It can go to old scars, to the spinal cord, the extremities even, and even the lungs. How it is transported to those places by the blood and the lymph. So as you can see, very difficult to diagnose, first of all, difficult to maintain with painkillers and etc., because it's a very vigorous, very lively disease that spreads, and or if it doesn't spread, it causes a lot of pain. And what is the importance of this endometrial tissue? It has physiological functions to prepare for implantation. Implantation means getting pregnant, maintenance of pregnancy afterwards, and menstruation. As you can see, this tissue plays a pivotal role in reproduction and continuation of our species. And that's why it's very important to be treated rightly, to be treated with care, and to address the entire body about it. What are the symptoms for endometriosis? So we have 4 symptoms that I observe. First of all, it is excessive menstrual cramps, a lot of pain, abnormal and very heavy menstrual flow, pain during sexual intercourse, and pain with bowel movements and urination. That's why a little bit later we'll be talking about addressing the digestive system as well, because the elimination of feces is part of the digestive system. Women with endometriosis are more likely to have infertility or big difficulty getting pregnant. That's why it has to be addressed with tender care. What we're going to do today is first to talk about the proper assessment. Then we will continue with a few herbs which are also pointed in the PDF, which some of you requested. Then we will be talking about what you can do right now to remedy or alleviate the pain. These are lifestyle changes and nutritional changes which can be done. And at the end, we will do a recap of everything I've spoken about. As you can see, through all my lives here on Facebook, I always mention that the process of healing is long. It takes a lot of time and attention, but once you heal, you learn a lot about yourself, about your body, and you can do it on your own later on if something happens. Once you learn how to assess yourself and how your body responds to different type of assessment, to different type of changes in your lifestyle, you will know how your body functions, and you will be able to give it all the appropriate tools in order for your body to heal. And remember, we don't heal the body. We give it the environment in which our body heals. This is very important to understand. The body is extremely intelligent. We don't tell it what to do. So let's start with the assessment. When we assess ourselves, the most important thing is to list every symptom. Absolutely every sign and symptom you have to write down before, for instance, you come on a consultation with me. I would like to know if you have cramps, how your neck feels, how your face feels, how do you have headaches as well. I don't expect you to talk about your cramps only. Next thing is to interpret the process behind the symptoms. What do I mean by that? Through evaluation, we have to find out which systems of your body does not function properly, which system needs some tools in order to recover, replenish, and start functioning properly. Then we studied the hormonal factors behind the symptoms. In this particular case, this disease or condition is so because of the estrogen-progesterone imbalance, and this has to be addressed. If you have to, if the herbal remedies don't help, it takes about 3 weeks to know, because that's the time when all the lifestyle changes and herbal remedies accumulate their effect. So in 3 weeks, if there is no result, I prefer to refer you to a hormonal specialist. I work with a fantastic naturopathic doctor who is a hormonal specialist, and he produces great results with Mike and his clients. Then we have to identify the appropriate healing modalities and lifestyle changes, about which we will be talking at the end. Of course, that includes nutrition, herbal actions, supplementation, movement. Movement is very, very important. Hydration, sleep, recovery times, and so on. We have to identify support healing pathways for the blood and the lymph. As I said in the beginning, in this disease, the endometrial tissue has the ability to seed itself in different places along your body. So it's very important the blood to be strong and clean. We have enough life force in the bioplasma of your blood, and the lymphatic system to work properly in order to continue with the healing process. We need to stimulate the lymphatic system, and I think I've mentioned before, one of the ways to stimulate the lymphatic system is through rebounding. Rebounding is very, very beneficial because the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump that can pump it out. It relies on your movement, on the fact that you are not sedentary and you constantly move, because when we move, we also have a slight twist in the body, which you can't see, but the entire body twists. And this is one of the things that stimulates the lymphatic system. Then we need to identify systems that would benefit from the recovery attention. What do I mean by that? Nervous system and digestive system are always the ones that suffer first in every disease. If you get to the point that you have a disease, that means your nervous system cannot really control muscles and tissues, and it fails to control the body in order the body to do its proper function. And that means that the digestive system, where the outside and the inside world meet, also needs help in order to perform at its optimum and to heal. Then we use in the herbalism hormonal normalizers, uterine tonics. We use nervines, antispasmodics, which are very, very important here. There are different formulas that you can apply at night and in the morning. So in order to control and relax the spasms that are coming from the pelvic floor. We also use demulcents and astringents. Astringents are those that build tissue, help also regenerate tissue, very important ones. We have to know if there are any biochemical considerations or intolerances of the food you are taking. That means all allergies and intolerances. There are tests where you can do it by yourself and to decide which food you are intolerant to. This is very important because when the body gets a food which it cannot process with ease, that food really impacts on the immune system. It impacts on the entire body. It takes energy to be expelled further, and it takes energy which it can be used for something else in your body, for healing purposes, for instance. So especially when we heal ourselves, it is important to know which food goes with ease through the digestive tract, from mouth to anus. Then we need to follow the holistic prescription. Never, absolutely never, the use only of a medication or only a herb or only movement or only spiritual work works in a long run. Never. Because we are a very complicated system of systems, and we need to address many systems in our body in order for our whole constitution to work well. And this is the holistic, the whole prescription which has to be followed. I know that it's not easy. I know that especially when we talk about endometriosis, we talk about women only. This is a disease which is a female disease. And women are mothers, sisters, wives, girlfriends, and they give a lot of their time to the people they love. But let's say for a short period of time, which is 6 months or so, you need to focus on your healing in order to come strong, vigorous, absolutely robust, and be able to help the people you love. You have to make it priority to heal, and I'm here to help you with that. How do we go through the process? We evaluate, assess, and then we re-evaluate. Like the first month is critical. The first month where things can be turned around. For some people it takes a little longer, but usually a month of focused work on our condition is enough to turn things around slowly. And once you see the results, once you feel the energy coming into your body, you have even more energy and desire to continue on the path to healing. Then it's a little bit easier because you establish a routine and you get used to the re-evaluations and to the process, and it becomes a habit, the healing habit, and the results come one after the other, good positive results, and it's very joyful, it's very pleasant what happens during that process. After the month, the re-evaluations are monthly. as I said, the first month could be on a weekly basis. I usually want the first month people to be close to me. Every day I need to know what has happened with your condition. And then when I see that you gain the habits that will heal you, you can continue with a re-evaluation on more stretched periods. So there are no specific remedies for endometriosis. Like I said, it's the whole body prescription. It's not only, okay, we'll treat the endometriosis with that one herb. But wild yam is almost specific to the pain, although a wild yam is not very strong. Wild yam is known to balance the estrogen-progesterone ratio in the body to a healthy one, and that's why it is used in this condition. Another herb that might be considered as the most appropriate remedy is Vitex or Vitex. I heard it in both pronunciations. Vitex also is hormonally balancing herb, and in the PDF I uploaded in the group, this is mentioned. Vitex and other herbs like cleavers, like skullcaps, and I think I have another one. There were 5. Black cohosh, yeah. I've mentioned all these herbs in infusions and tinctures can help specifically the endometriosis, and specifically when the pain is extremely only in the around pelvic floor and when you have strong and very heavy PMS. In the beginning, I promised you that I will tell you what you can do right now as lifestyle changes and nutritional changes to remedy the condition in the long run. And we'll start with anything that reduces the overall inflammation. This is gluten, dairies, in some people seeds have to be stopped as well. So anything that will bring the body into a healing mode. In particular, also I want to stress that it's important to know if there are fungal infections. Very important, because the fungal infections will challenge the digestive tract. For instance, small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. Those bacteria are supposed to be in the colon, but sometimes they go in the intestines. This is a big problem for the digestive tract, and it has to be healed. So it has to be addressed. This is one of the lifestyle nutritional changes that has to be made, because it requires a specific nutrition as well. How that does the liver gallbladder axis detox? This also has to be addressed. As you know, when I do assessment, I assess all the bodily systems and I have an idea how the liver gallbladder axis works. Then in what state is the thyroid and the hormonal balance, especially the progesterone? There is assessment for that, the estrogen, progesterone. When we assess the reproductive system, we know, we have an idea how is that hormonal balance in your body. What is your metabolic typing? In order for you to have the correct foods in your body, you have to know how you oxidize. What is your metabolic type? Are you slow oxidizer, fast oxidizer, or is something mixed? And we have to see which foods are the ones that are of greatest benefit for you. What supplements should you take? Supplements are different according to the metabolic type. Supplements are different according to what we are aiming to heal. And also it has to be followed up with how you feel. Do you see your supplements entirely in your urine? If so, those supplements don't work for you. They might have a greater percentage of absorbability, but they might not work for you, especially. Some of the supplements are systematic enzymes, which are very, very beneficial in every condition, but they also have to be prescribed. Never mind, they're over the counter, but you have to know which one to take due to evaluation, right? You probably heard about proteolytic, serapeptides. These are systematic supplements, which means that they work on the entire system, every system of the body, not only in the digestive system. Then, of course, you need spiritual work. You need loving attention, long periods of self-concentration and self-love. This is very important. Therapies like Qigong, yoga, but I need to prescribe that because yoga, a lot of people who are very flexible, they tend to go to do yoga because they're good in yoga because they're very flexible. And this is the wrong thing to do. When we're flexible, too flexible, we don't want to push towards this. We would like to do more weight training. But again, weight training, when you have endometriosis, you have to be very careful because if the hormonal balance is not correct, you can't do very heavy weight training because that will totally exhaust your body and get all the resources in the wrong direction, in the wrong place. There is oil, castor oil, and another oil which I've never used, but a colleague told me that it's working very well. It's called Paramau root oil, and apparently they import it from Indonesia. This oil is for rubbing. Castor oil is for application on the abdomen, and I think that if you stay about 6 hours a day or during the night with this oil on your abdomen, you can get great results in terms of pain. It's a great healer. It gets very deep into the human body. Medicinal mushrooms also. Medicinal mushrooms, I'm a big fan of those, but they have to be taken with formula. Otherwise, they work. I'm not saying they don't, but they're not as efficient. Another thing is to add sunlight in your day, or light. If you don't have sun like us today, it's all day gray. But in the morning, I spend half an hour outside to work out and to be outside. This helps with the sleep later on at night. Adequate protein, carbohydrate, and fat. I don't want people with endometriosis to remove carbohydrates entirely, but carbohydrates with a high glycemic index have to be removed, as well as refined sugar. You know, this is the sugar without fibers, which is extremely unbeneficial or extremely damaging for the reproductive system. And you know this with the pain. Just try, and for a month, just cut the white sugar. Everything which is done with white sugar. Every wheat, no grains at all, and see how will be next period. When I was younger and I had my periods, I'm pretty sure that I also had endometriosis because I was in a lot of pain and I had heavy periods, but nobody told me that I have to go to see a doctor. They just told me then deal with it. So how I dealt with it, I trained a lot, and I cut the white sugar, the bread, the pasta, and all these things. And a couple of months later, after I did that, my pain was gone, and it was only a feel that I'm in my period. And that was just fantastic. But it's a combination of everything. How much cardio, how much weight training, and etc. You have to know about that. If you don't know, ask me. When you go on holiday, go on high altitude. In high altitude is very beneficial. By the sea is very beneficial too. But in high altitude, the blood thins, and everything in the body is very, very easy to heal. When you go by the sea, the benefit is from the minerals that are in the water, that going into the sea, they go through the skin into your body. This is that benefit. So you can also take high doses of homeopathic tinctures of Atropa belladonna, for instance, or chamomile. Atropa belladonna has another name. Deadly nightshade is the other name. Chamomile, as you can see, I mention it very often. It's a very nice, mild, and efficient nervine. It helps a lot, and antispasmodic as well. Bone broth. For those of you who are fast oxidizer, they also can get a lot of organ meat. And of course, like I said, removing all the sugar, white sugar, and wheat is important. What else can we do? Forgiveness work to release the energy from dysfunctional relationships. If you check Louise Hay, you will see that she believes that a lot of frustration is one of the feelings that is accumulated in around the pelvic floor, and all the problems coming from the reproductive system just lead to frustration, and we need to forgive, do forgiveness, forgiving work. I find journaling in general very, very helpful. When the emotions start to build, just write them down. And what I used to do when I was younger, I would burn them, and I would put them in the toilet, and I will flush them. I will pee on them and flush them. It's a weird thing, but they would leave me, those bad emotions. Breath work, of course. So I want to mention something about cold showers. For endometriosis, I am a little bit uncomfortable with cold showers, because when people have this pain, they want hot. So use as warm as you can take. Why do we do the cold or the warm showers, hot showers? Because those shock proteins are coming in those extreme situations. We put the body in order to help the body to kill tissues. They literally kill it, actually. That is sick tissue, that it doesn't perform as it's supposed to as a healthy tissue. That's why we suggest the cold showers or the hot. I would suggest sauna. Sauna is very beneficial with endometriosis. I forgot to mention the pancreatic enzymes when we talked about the nutrition. This is very important, and also to not to take generally modified products, GMO foods, and to switch to all organic feminine products. Extremely important, because they trigger the estrogen levels into the body. So think about those pads you're using, or tampons, or anything like cleaning solutions at home, and etc. And I want to give you a word about the birth control pills. Birth control pills for me are a big no-no. They are proven to cause cancer in many people in the respiratory, in the breast tissue, in the reproductive, the whole reproductive system, in the pelvic floor, and etc. cervix. I would like to consult all of my clients, female clients, to get off the birth pill. You have to learn to measure your temperature, and you have to learn in that 1 week, which you might be get pregnant, but you don't want to get pregnant, to talk to your partner to use condoms, or him to learn to withdraw. I absolutely suggest do not take birth control pills for that reason. For the reason of the, because it plays with your hormones. It gets the body in a state where the body gets out of order hormonally. So I promised to mention the herbs. I think I mentioned them already, but again, the herbs that are relevant in this condition are cleavers, skullcaps, black cohosh, wild yam, and vitex. You can use those herbs in order, and creams made from those herbs, in order to remedy, alleviate the pain, and deal with your hormones, hormonal imbalance, and with the pain. Yes. So as a recap, what can we say so far? We said that the endometriosis is an estrogen progesterone issue, because that tissue, in order to grow, it's stimulated by this disbalance because of those two hormones. It is usually a product of tissue proliferation mediated by excess estrogen, and it can be resolved with diet and progesterone. But there might be environmental factors, which we mentioned, which are the estrogen in your environment, like cleaning products, like the pads or tampons you're using, and stuff like that. So the environment really needs to be cleared. And in the same vein, PMS-like symptoms can be related to estrogen and progesterone and blood sugar regulation. That's why I suggested sugar, white sugar, wheat, to be eliminated from your food. With clients, I would complete overhaul of their environment, and at home toxic exposure. I would change their hygiene products, cleaners, detergents even, and I would add some air purifying plants. I think NASA was that they have a great book on types of air purifying plants, which you can keep at home, and they're great. I think they suggest 7 plants or something like that in this book. I don't remember the name because it's been a long time I read it. The workout programs also have to be checked. With any conditions, we need to move. With the endometriosis, we need to move differently. The intensity has to be checked because of your hormonal disbalance if you have endometriosis. And we have to make sure that we have enough work-ins. It's very important to do that spiritual, mental work inside of the body in order to get stronger mentally. Detox methods like salt baths and saunas are very, very good. Also, through the salt baths, you will get a lot of magnesium, which is antispasmodic. It will help the muscles to relax. The only thing when you do the salt baths, it takes about 3 weeks if you do it regularly, in order for magnesium to accumulate in the body and to do what it's supposed to do. So I think this is all I wanted to say today. I gave you a little overview of endometriosis. I gave you lifestyle changes you can do about it, some herbs you can use, and what is a proper assessment for this condition, which is very important. Of course, don't forget, it's very important to use hormonal normalizers, to use uterine tonics, all the herbs that help the reproductive system and everything which a woman, and they help in men too, can go through. Antispasmodics to relax the muscles so you don't feel that pain. Nervines also to be able to sleep well, because sleep is important for our recovery. You know that next time we'll be talking about circadian health, which means we'll be talking about the stages of physical recovery and the stages of psychological recovery during the night. Sleep is extremely important because the immune system works at night. It doesn't work during the day because we have cortisol in our blood. Then the growth hormone cannot be released to do recoveries. Yes, together we can solve any puzzle of disease. I can also pull resources of my peers if I find that somewhere they are better than me and have more information and experience. So you just ask me. If you have any questions, I am available right now to answer your questions. And Asmita, hello, and thank you for watching. If not, I will just publish this live in the Facebook group, Eliminate a Chronic Health Condition, and some will be published on Instagram, but not the whole thing. So thank you for watching, and if you don't have questions, I will see you next Wednesday again at 9 o'clock, where we'll be talking about circadian health. Hi everyone, we are together again. Today we'll be talking about endometriosis, and I will stay at the end to answer questions if you have any questions. So what is endometriosis? A very grave disease which is extremely painful. It is derived from the word endometrium, which word is the tissue that lines the uterus. So that uterine tissue has the ability to plant itself on other tissues and organs, like the fallopian tubes, pelvic ligaments, in the abdomen, which means in the organs in the abdomen. It can go to old scars, to the spinal cord, the extremities even, and even the lungs. How it is transported to those places by the blood and the lymph. So as you can see, very difficult to diagnose, first of all, difficult to maintain with painkillers and etc., because it's a very vigorous, very lively disease that spreads, and or if it doesn't spread, it causes a lot of pain. And what is the importance of this endometrial tissue? It has physiological functions to prepare for implantation. Implantation means getting pregnant, maintenance of pregnancy afterwards, and menstruation. As you can see, this tissue plays a pivotal role in reproduction and continuation of our species. And that's why it's very important to be treated rightly.
Leave a question or comment and we'll be glad to answer. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow and subscribe.